Hi everybody, my name is Jasmine Grijalva and this is our system requirements and build versus buy for our breaks group. The first requirement that we wanted to start off with is pricing. So when we did our research for this slideshow, we chose 6 different software programs that are available currently to any shelter. And so we just went ahead and looked at all of the different categories and saw what was something that was common, and what's like a type of standard to go off of, and also like if they're going to need that. One that we thought was a pretty obvious one to include would be the pricing. So for Pet Friend, prices range from the size from small shelters to large shelters, but as a standard we wanted to stick with just the large shelter prices across the board. So for Pet Friend it's $100 a month, Buzz to the Rescue $2.99 a month, Bark is $50 a month, Shelter Manager is $2 per adoption, which we thought was pretty interesting, because the others limit you to the size, but because it's per adoption, it doesn't really matter what size shelter you are, and then so it's a lot more accessible. And then for Shepherd Vets, $300 a month, and Politics, it's $1 per adoption, which is something we thought was very competitive. Something that was very common for all of these different softwares, is that the platform was varied. So across all of them, there was either iOS, Android, or web. There's also different applications available for different that are compatible with smartphone, tablets, and PC. So that's something that we thought was very important, that since that's very standard for each of them, we would do the same. Okay, care management. So care management is something that is very crucial to any type of software application for a shelter or clinic. Without it, everything would be very unorganized, and it'd make the adoption process, fostering processes, very just not as streamlined and, like I said, very unorganized. So in Pet Friend, animal care, medications, test results, their procedures and surgeries, vet offices that are available to us, and their different vet visits that are relevant to what we need to know about the animals. That would all be something that they have in their care management, and in their animal profile system. For Buzz to the Rescue, they have their animal history, medical records, their animal routine, any documents and notes. So all of that is important information. For Bark, they have their vet and medical records, inventory control, donations, and customer support, part of their care management. And then for the shelter manager software, they have different tools to track animals. So that goes as far as like having reports and different data for the shelter to analyze available to them. Their animal welfare, their medical needs, and then they advertise adoptable animals, and it's also in multiple languages, so that's very cool. Another one was Shepherd Vet, and that strengthens vet client patient relationships. So that was one of their goals. Some of the software weren't as specific when it came down to all of the different features, but I assume that the care management was able to connect the three together. enhances patient care and boosts team morale, so the team members using the software actually want to use it. And then for Polytics, they have basically everything else, but as well as showing if they've been altered and if they have any other medical fields are able to enter them. Yeah, so that's care management.
Hello everyone, my name is Ty Welch. I'm with the group The Breaks, and I'm here to discuss the animal management, the adoptions, and the accounting for software that's already available for our project. Alright, so this is the animal management section from all the softwares my group researched. Alright, I'm going to go over some of these features that the softwares provide for animal management. Obviously, you can see PetFriend, very detailed, and it's what our project is going to strive for. But animal records, very important. Honestly, any records you can think of, they provide. They support all animals, which is great. Buzz to the rescue, they focus on a lot of health and really the taking care of the dog, which is great. Bark provides records, animal profile. Shelter manager up here. One that I like is animal control and case management to show what the animal's been through or if they need any special treatment, any special care. They also have vaccination and medical treatments, which is very important. Alright, we have Shepherd Vet right here. They have a high-level dashboard with a lot of great info, activity logs, and diseases that the animal may have. Next, we have Polytics, which is able to kind of match pets and potential adopters. They have a microchip, intake, how the animal is brought in, and they have their health conditions. All right, we are on to adoptions. Here are some of the features that all of the softwares provide. I'll go over the more important ones. All right, all of these besides Shepherd Vet, because it's more of a health related on their side, provides adopter modules, volunteer, shelter manager actually does a foster to adopt and trial adoption, which is great. An important feature that PetFriend provides is they send out notifications for animals and tasks to the shelter, so the shelter can stay on top of those things. All right, Buzz has online applications, which is great. They have home visit notes, and they also have a do not adopt, foster, or volunteer list, which is very important because the animal needs proper care, and if the person's unable to provide that, then they shouldn't be able to adopt. As I discussed already, the shelter manager has trial to adopt and foster to adopt, which I think is a great feature. Shepherd Vet, I already explained that it's kind of more on the health related side, so they don't have a lot of stuff for adoptions, but they do collaborate with other adoption software. And Polytics, it's more of the typical applications and stuff like that. Alright, we are now on to the accounting section. So, like I've been doing, I'm just going to go over the important features that the softwares provide for accounting. Alright, so we have PetFriend up here. We have inventory, very important for staying organized. Donations, a lot of shelters run on donations, so that's a big one. Alright, so here's Buzz to the rescue. Once again, they're really focused on donations, so that's where pretty much all these points are is related to donors. Alright, next we have Bark. Once again, donations, of course. And one that I like, event organizing, adoption events. Those are always great for the shelter, adopters, the animals. It's great all around. Alright, next we have Shelter Manager. Once again, a lot of donations. A point that I like that they have is they break down the figures by payment categories and methods, which can help keep things organized. Alright, so we have Shepherd Vet next, and an important point that they have is inventory tracking. Once again, organization's very important, so inventory and tracking is a very important point on their end. Alright, and last we have Polytics. Once again, we're back to organization. Important point that they have is payment tab to manage all service fees. That'll keep everything nice and organized, and you're able to pay off those fees and keep everything in one spot.
Next, we divulge into the administration requirement. As my group and I did our research, we kind of observed that a lot of software offered administrative tools to help around the office. Tools to help put together reports and also to track profiles were pretty prevalent. As you can see from the table, some software prioritize administrative tools more than others. PetFriend, for example, has a lot of administrative tools to offer. From tracking things like tax information, animal adoptions, subscriptions, we can see that PetFriend really prioritizes the administrative tools in their software. Tying a little bit with security, Shelter Manager prioritizes handling data safely and effectively. A cool feature from Shepherd Vet was offering end-of-day reporting. With end-of-day reporting kind of comes customization with reports to receive at the end of every day. Buzz to the Rescue kind of prioritizes being accessible throughout the whole office with different types of hosting, being mobile ready with and website designs. Similar to Bark, they also have a mobile-friendly app, but they also include inventory control, which is a very important administrative tool. We considered inventory control for our own software because it would be very useful to know what you have on hand as a company. And a cool feature of Polytics was that when you create a new profile for a new adoptee, you can enter the email, name, role, select role, and things to kind of filter out when you want to search for specific people. The administration requirement was very useful because it helps keep everything tracked and organized and helps the office run a lot more efficiently. Now, referring to our problem definition, with adoption agencies comes a lot of data to handle. We want to make sure this data is secure and handled safely and effectively. Again, as we did our research, we observed that a lot of the software had protocols to make sure the data that they were handling was handled in a secure manner. For example, PetFriend and Polytics have a similar protocol when it comes to logging in. I actually had to do a little bit of research for the Okta OIDC SSO that is actually a second layer of two-factor login authorization. Buzz to the Rescue offered 24/7 site monitoring, which I don't think we would need in our case specifically, but it was useful to know that other softwares offered it. I think Bark had a good idea being a cloud-based software because nothing gets lost, just in case for outages or data breaches. Shelter Manager was big on making sure their data was secure and safe and making sure that there was no selling or modifying any of the data that they handled. And Shepherd Vet had a very useful tool for auto-saving patient records once they are created. I think that this is a good tool that we should use in our own software. Security is very important, not only working with the databases that we are, but also when you hold information such as social security numbers or credit card information. Considering real humans and real animals are at stake in case of breaches, security is very high on our priority list for our software. Connections with other databases was a very cool tool that we found during our research. We learned that a lot of these software that exist already are integrated with other software such as PetFinder. PetFinder, Adopt-A-Pet are all separate other parties that host animals that are ready to be adopted. As our software is of course helping agencies track adoptions, we consider this very important. It seems to be a standard among this type of software for adoption agencies. For example, PetFriend, Bark, and Polytics all have their connections to PetFinder and Adopt-A-Pet. Shelter Manager even has automatic daily publishing to these websites. We think that the ability of migrating data to other websites to make sure to get the word out that these animals are up for adoption is very, very cool. Polytics also offers something a bit more advanced where you can register your microchipped animals into their registry. As it seems to be a standard among this type of software, we prioritized it pretty highly. We want to be able to make sure that we provide the most efficient software possible, and it seems that this is a gold standard of doing so. But of course, besides trying to be like other software, connecting our information to different databases that can put out animal information seems very useful. It seems like a great way for our client to get business in. So from all of the research that our group and I provided, our client decided to go with 5 main priority requirements. These priority requirements are adoption management, animal management, security, connections to other databases, and the price. A big part of adoption management will be building reports. These reports would hold information about adoptees and adopted animals. For example, if there are any warnings about an adoptee or any holds on their account. Adoption management is just to track all applications that come in through. Next is animal management, and within animal management, we want to build profiles for all the animals. This would include information like medical records, dietary needs, disease tracking. Also, of course, vaccination reports. Because we're working with large databases and confidential information, our clients really prioritize security. Due to cloud-based software's encrypting technology, we're going to try to go with that, as well as auto-saving patient records that we create with two-factor login authentication. And because our client wanted as most outreach as possible, we're going to try to prioritize connecting our information to other databases such as PetFinder and Adopt-a-Pet. Along with registering microchip details, we wanted to be able to auto-import animal profiles into these websites. And the biggest priority, of course, was our price. Our client wants to make sure that we're providing the most efficient software that we can for the most just price. So in conclusion, our client wants us to produce software that will track management for all applications to adopt pets. And within those applications, we want to be able to create profiles for not just for the animals, but for the adoptees as well. And we want to make sure all the information is secured safely. And we want to make sure that information can be exported to other databases for a fair and just price. So in conclusion, we think that we would be the best choice of our client because after establishing all of the features that other software provided, we are picking the most important ones that our client needs. We are aiming to include most of the features that all the other software provides, but as we have picked the most important ones to our client, we think that we would be the best choice for the most fair price. Our software would be much more personal to them. It would be catered to them. As we are creating essentially an amalgamation of all the other software, we think that what we are building would be the most efficient to help with their databases.